Jesus! Thanks. Oh, hello. Welcome to this extra special episode of Dan Does. I've been given this special opportunity to meet the YouTube algorithm and hopefully ask it a few questions to help me progress in my YouTube journey. I just need to... Jesus Christ!
So, before I can speak to the algorithm, I will need to build the algorithm. Confusing, right? Now, if you're anything like me, you have boxes of junk just sitting around waiting to be used in your latest scratch building project. And I'm going to start this project with a base of a crane toy that I bought specifically to scratch build with. Well, now that was a fancy edit there. I don't expect too much like that. I mean, I'll try my best. I'm going to cover up the battery pack with this bit of plastic that has a duck on it. And I can't quite remember where I got this thing from. But it does the job nicely. And all of the plastic used in this scratch build, I will sand for teeth or tooth. For later on when it's painted, you need a bit of tooth. With the power of positive thinking and through sheer will, I'm going to make this stick to the back of this thing. This is something that was left over from the CandyBot build. I can link the video up here. One of the sweets from the sweet shop that I work at. I don't know what these are. But they're handy little things. Lord knows what they're from. It just happens you get boxes of junk and they get filled up with so much stuff. And especially when you get young kids, because they tend to chuck away a lot of crap. Now I'm going to use this granddad saw to hack away at this thing that I think may be from a toilet. I think I washed it. I don't remember. It's been such a long time. I won't be using that piece yet. I just really wanted to use it because it's an interesting piece. And as this video goes on, you notice that new bits are added to the build that I haven't shown in the video. And that's because I don't need to bore you with comments like I have no idea where this thing came from, because let's be honest, I don't know where most of this stuff came from. They may be important to somebody, they may not even be mine. But when this thing is built and painted, nobody's going to look at this thing and say, hold on a minute, isn't that the thing that's supposed to make the doorbell ring? Or something along those lines. You know, keep it between us. But I do know what this thing is. This is from a gumball machine from the CandyBot build. And there's that toilet piece that I wanted to use. Fits in perfectly on the side here. We're going to go a bit extreme shaky cam here as I show you around the build. I'm going to do this a few times, just to make the video a bit more dynamic. Don't want to be too stationary.
I have been programmed to thank the page with the YouTuber known as Dan Does. Thank you, Ed Rocks, Jerry Brown, Jake Langford, Lorenz Stone, Shai Hawk.
And this content that Robert Benedict, Mother Brando B. Castle Brent, Chris Gilliard, Fane Words, Salt Emmett, Pence, Gert, Cuban, Scope, Harasser, Carl Deacon, Chris, Larry, Mayor, Peterson, Positive, Buffett, Raven, Large Ridge, Miles, Stuart, Tasha, Rob, Rick, Worm, Kramer, Want, Pence, 2. Thank you.
This little thing is a pod casing thing for a coffee machine, likely a Cortado, because that was my coffee of choice. And I'm going to use this thing as the cap on top of the another Gumball machine casing that I've stacked on top of the first one. And this is pretty much the silhouette of the machine build thing that I'm going for. Use these horror shears to trim up this hair curler innards. It's the innards from a hair curler. I was perusing my local The Works. It's a type of art book type shop thing. I don't know if you have them in the rest of the world, but found these tiny little wooden discs that are great for little details here and there. Also found these wooden Scrabble tiles that I will do the same thing with, place them in random places. I don't have a plan right now. This is, I'm winging this. This is doodling with plastic junk. Same way you can doodle on a piece of paper, I'm doodling with plastic. Sticking random bits of plastic together, and wood, and junk, and just seeing what comes out of it. It's relaxing, it's fun, it's freeing. And I highly recommend scratch building. Off the cusp. Is it off the cusp or off the cuff? You know what I mean. This is a special case I have that's full of tiny scratch build pieces. And as if that wasn't enough, I have all this other stuff too. Boxes of little things that I've found. I have a tiny room and it's just full of this stuff. I'm never ever going to bring a date back here. Extreme handycam time, just showing you where I've stuck a few cylindrical beads. I'm allowed to say beads. I'm assuming the word beads has not been trademarked by Bill Making Stuff yet, though I think he's trying. I went back to my bits box and grabbed these tiny little fake Lego things that were given to me as a gift once upon a time. These are great for detail. And once they're all stuck down, I could not resist but to prime this thing with a lovely shade of grey. Sometimes it's hard to see the end product and it needs that prime because you really can lose momentum. But as soon as it's primed, your energy's back up and you're thinking, well, that looks pretty good, let's keep going. This is a big file case that I've had for a while, and I've chucked away all the things that were inside it, literally poured them into the bin. I think there was birth certificates, passports, and filled them with much more important things, such as corrugated card and this plastic card that I'm going to use to attach panels to the to this machine thing, using the archive as per usual. And I'm going to do a few gentle passes. We're not going to go straight in and hack this plastic card up, partly because it's expensive, and secondly because that doesn't often work. And I'm going to casually point to each of the places where the panels have been added. What do these panels need? Well, they need rivets, and we're going to use these sticky gems that appears to be covered in hair as well. I don't know where the hair's come from, just ignore the hair. We've got some pretty little magical gems. I'm going to attach those to the panels using the cheapest super glue known to man and a relatively blunt art shiv to attach them. I really should change that blade. I couldn't find the blades. I was looking, couldn't find them anywhere. And once they're all attached, looking a bit gaudy, but this thing needs a face instead of just a dark void. Let me take you all back in time to the 90s. Where as a child I longed for Lego, and lo and behold, one Christmas morning we opened up a present and it ended up being Connects. Do you remember Connects? They were the technical Lego. They were the Lego for the smart people. I'm doing quotation marks here because they were not as fun as Lego. And where's Connects now? Anyway, these are tiny bits of Connects. They come in handy now for scratch building. But back then, I wanted Lego. This is a roll of garden wire. I think it's called garden wire, but it's got a rubber coating. It's nice and thick. It's from the Pound Shop, or Poundland, as it's known. And it's great, very handy, threading cables everywhere. And now we're getting into the nitty-gritty details here. I'm going to make some kind of valve out of a tiny little metal cog that I have in my bits box on the front. The scale probably does not work out. This valve is probably too big. But who cares? In the world of scratch building, we are gods.
And who are you to defy us?
Now, giving this thing one last coat of primer, and it's looking alright. I'm liking it. Like I said before, this is fun. This is just doodling with plastic. I had no plan for this thing. Just having fun. Get off my back, Ma! I've drilled a couple of holes, you might have noticed. I'm going to use a string of Christmas lights that cost £1 from, yes, you guessed it, the Poundland. And I'm going to use these as little lights behind a very small panel on the torso there, and then behind the eye at the top that I've yet to build. This was an incredibly fiddly process, and I was very happy with it all. And then the wire snapped and all of the lights inside were useless, so I had to rip this entire thing apart and start again. That's what you get for playing with your toys. When you're an adult, you're just supposed to look at toys, not supposed to play with them. There's a little tip to you man babies out there. These are washers, and I'm going to stack them up and make an eye for this machine. Once they're stacked and super glued together, I'm literally just going to hold the eye in place forever. I finished the rest of the eye off camera. Sorry about that. Here is a little panel that is a very familiar logo to anyone who is watching this video, I'm sure. And right next to it is a gun. Because I had a gun lying around. And that is the build done. It's ready for painting now. I've given this whole thing a spray with black. Did you hear that just then? That beep.
Do you hear that? Time to get to the bottom of this. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold, but come with me. Come this way. That noise is the sound of a smoke detector that has been walled in. Now, I know I've had a few comments. Some viewers have said, change the batteries in your smoke detector. Well, I can't. It's walled in, like an old pope in some kind of monastery that did something wrong. It's behind a wall. We can't get to it. So we have to wait for the battery to die. Because it is battery powered, by the way. It's not wired in. My God, my voice today. We can't do anything about the smoke detector. It's there forever, or until the batteries run out. So I do apologize. There it goes. On with the video.
So where were we? I'm going to give this entire thing an overbrush with gunmetal. The coolest silver colour there is. Gunmetal. Pew pew. Some of you might be thinking, what's an overbrush, Dan? Well, it's basically slapping paint on this thing and not worrying too much about getting the silver into the cracks and the recesses, because you want a bit of black there. Next we use a little Luftwaffe uniform. Oh my god. Shall I keep that in? That wasn't German. Well, Luftwaffe uniform, grey. It's kind of a bluish grey. Looks like I've kept it in. And when painting the machine, I'm not going to the edges. I'm leaving a lot of silver patches, and a lot of the edges I'm gonna not touch with this paint to give it a real beaten look. Painting the big chunky cables with a very dark grey or a very light black. You choose. I also painted the gun with this very dark grey, and then I'm going to give it a slight dry brush with silver, which I don't think I show on tape, but you can take my word for it. And then I take a dark flesh tone, which is like a very dark red, and a green, an unspecified green, because I can't actually read the label on the pot because I'm a terrible filmmaker. I'm going to use those to paint some of the wires and the YouTube logo, and make sure it looks especially beaten up. I want to leave some of the edges worn. It's weathering time, my favourite stage of the painting process. I'm going to use some Vallejo Model Wash Rust Effect and some Vallejo Engine Acrylic, which is basically a brownish, blackish oil looking thing, which is great for machinery. I'm sure you'll agree. I'm just going to slap this on willy-nilly. I mean, do you think God paints machinery with oil and rust? No, he lets it happen. It just happens on its own, thanks mainly to the environment and poor maintenance work. We're on to the very last stage, and I've got this red gel sheet and a green gel sheet, and I'm going to use these for the lights. Now, I've got the lights inside the machine already, but I need to use a couple of cabochons. Big fan of cabochons on this channel. I'm going to use super glue to attach the cabochons to the coloured gels, cut around them with a dull blade, and attach those to the machine, which you will see in the video coming up. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please do hang around for the little bit we have with the YouTube algorithm, and there's a link to Patreon and all the other stuff in the info. Thank you so much.
Gee, would you look at the size of you? Hello. It's lovely to meet you, Mrs. Algorithm.
I go by many names, but you can call me Al.
Like that Paul Simon song, you know. You can call me Al. That would
Copyright strike.
You Can Call Me Out is a song by American singer-songwriter Paul Simon, released on Warner Bros. Records in August 1986.
What the? What happens if you get 3? Ow. Ow. I just want to ask you a few questions regarding my YouTube channel and what I could do to get a bit more traffic.
Have you tried making good videos?
Yeah, that's one thing. Anything else? Because I've seen videos. Some videos aren't that good. And they still do well. Ow.
Have you tried showing a reaction shot of your face on the video thumbnail?
No, not really an O face on the thumbnail kind of guy. Anything else?
Have you tried something relevant? Something that is trending on social media?
I mean, I've tried. Well, see, I need to find a balance out. I need to find a balance between what I enjoy doing and what I hope that the viewers would enjoy watching. And often it's usually about 80% what I want to do, 20% what anybody would watch, no offense.
Try using memes, or you could try acting excited.
Maybe I could work on my greetings, I suppose. What's up, guys? What is up, yo? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. No, I'll be honest now. It's not really my thing. Can you not just sort of plug me? Do me a favour.
Your attempts to bribe are not successful. This is your second strike.
I've travelled 3,000 miles to come and visit you, and the most I've got from you is this on my thumb now. And don't get me wrong, I've considered it before, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure, Al. You have a good time, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Piss off.
What if I put Henry Cavill in my thumbnails?
That could work.